Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming today and helping me out with this. My name is Stephanie Lafferty, and I'm going to talk to you today about how to work effectively with others in the workplace. All right. So there are very few professional careers out there where you are not a part of a team. So what exactly is a team? A team is a group of people who work together effectively and efficiently toward a specific purpose. Often, each person has a different skill that they bring to the table and contribute to the team. They all have complementative skills that help each other with a range of tasks. There is a fun little thing that you can say. I couldn't remember if it was called a mnemonic or not, but together everyone achieves more. That's a nice way to help you remember what a team is and what a team does if you don't know. It sums up the definition nicely, and it's easier to remember than just the definition of team. There are many different types of teams that you could be a part of. Your entire organization could be a team. Your department or the section you work in could be a team. Or sometimes there's even specific teams that are built and put together that are developed just to do a specific task, and then they disband after the task is completed. So there's a lot of things you can do that become a team. A weekly committee, a book club, those are more examples of things that are considered teams, where you come together, you do things, you work together towards a specific goal. Once it's achieved, you move on to the next. Sorry, I'm looking over my notes. All right, so what types of things as an individual can you do to ensure that you have a successful team? You can follow safety procedures, listen and follow directions from your supervisors, adhere to workplace policies and procedures, maintain your personal workspace. Cleanliness is close to godliness, as they say, so keep your area clean and tidy. That's very important. Accept responsibilities for your own work and assist your coworkers when required. You would want help if you were struggling on a task, if you didn't know, or if you were running close to crunch time, so everything you can do to contribute makes you a better team player. Seek advice when needed. Don't go out and think that you already know how to do something and then do it on your own and get it wrong. We just actually covered a section in one of my classes where a ferry line got new equipment installed on their ship, and they, instead of getting the proper training on how to do it, they just went out and they ran the ship. They didn't know how to use the piece of new equipment, so they just turned it off and ended up landing the ship, running it up on a bank, and had to rescue the people and didn't have any procedures in line to ensure that all of the passengers were safe. And because of this, they lost two of the people who were on the ship. And they thought the whole time that they had it. So without an organized teamwork and everybody knowing what their job is and where their place is, you can have casualties or faults happen. So it's very important to make sure if you don't understand a situation, seek advice, get help, learn about it. And you can also keep within the requirement of your job description. You should receive most of this information at the time that you're hired in. They always give new hires packets, information with all your safety procedures, and or the locations where they're kept within the store if you don't get individual packets. So if you're not familiar with where they are, find out right away. It's important for you to know. So successful teams. All members are committed to the goals of the team. These are things that make up a successful team, All members being committed to the goals of the team. So make sure that when you come into it, you know what your goal is, and that you're ready to help accomplish this goal no matter what the tasks are, you're ready to put in your 2 cents. Effective communication between team members so that each member or each person understands what is expected of them. So again, communication with your team members, make sure you know what your job is, make sure they know what their job is. Each member cooperating and assisting when they need help. Team members being flexible with respect to the tasks that they complete. The more skilled a team, the more work will be accomplished within the designated time frame, which makes you not only a more desirable team player if you have these skills, but also makes your team more desirable. So you'll get more jobs than the other team if you have more skills in set and you can show that you do them faster and quicker. The sharing of ideas and the contribution of brainstorming activities, especially during problem solving, and every member of the team adopting a positive attitude. Respecting the differences in personal values or beliefs related to culture, religion, and language. This is a big one. Everybody knows in this day and age that we all come from all walks of lives, and it's very easy to jokingly make a pointed comment or say something that might be offensive to somebody. So when you work as a team, you need to know and understand your team members and try to avoid conversations like that that could get you into, a line of disrespect. Try and keep it civil and work together regardless of where you come from. And attend team meetings regularly. That always helps to make you a better team member. If you get together, share your ideas, troubleshoot, brainstorm, do whatever you need to accomplish your goal. So now you know about team success and the steps that you need to take to be a successful team member. Let's move on to communication at work and the important role that this plays on working effectively. What is effective communication in the workplace? It's the ability to be understood and to understand others, which requires a set of skills to be learned and practiced. Let's consider some of the common misconceptions that we hold about communicating, as well as the importance of self-awareness in communication. It is fairly common that two people do not understand each other, often without even knowing it. We hold certain misconceptions about how we communicate with one another. These misconceptions create barriers to engaging in effective exchange and genuine conversations. Let's discuss some of these. All right, so if I say it, the other person will understand. I've been a victim of this myself many times. Clearly, I speak loudly and, well enough to where anyone can understand me, right? Well, that's not always the case. I'm going to pull my notes out for this part, but this is not always true, saying if I say it, the other person will understand it, as this message being received can be interpreted in many ways. So saying it doesn't mean it was understood. Check with the recipient and see if the meaning of the message is understood as intended. The next one, the more communication, the better. Again, here I am a victim as well. I have a tendency to over-talk. If I look at you and you're looking lost, I'll just go, so, blah, 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 and fill in the blanks. And that's not the way that you communicate with another person. If you feel misunderstood, sometimes you feel it's better to explain yourself until you're understood, but it isn't always helpful. You can exasperate the situation instead of clarifying it with excessive talking. Instead, try expressing yourself in different ways. If this fails, knowing when to remain silent is also a part of communicating effectively. Any problem can be solved at any time if we communicate with each other. Have you ever had something happen at work that upset you, and every time someone tried to talk it out with you, it just made you more emotional or angry? Sometimes it is better to take some time away from each other and the situation instead of trying to talk it out. When your emotions are high, they can blow an interaction out of proportion. Taking some time to self-reflect and calm will help you gain perspective of the issue. My old boss actually used to call it the 48-hour rule, and when I would get upset about something really small at work and I can't handle it, I have to go home, and she would say, take 48 hours, don't talk about it, don't think about it, just go home, breathe in, breathe out, let it go. If in 48 hours you come back to work and you're still upset and still passionate about it, then we'll address it then. But I'd say probably 98% of the time, by the time those 48 hours have passed, I'd forgotten about it. Let it go, moved on. It's not worth draining my energy over. So a lot of the time you'll find out that that's the case for you as well. Communication is a natural ability. Some have it, some don't. Communication is not an innate ability. Skillful communicating must be learned and practiced. There are some very helpful but simple tips that can dramatically increase how you understand others and how you are understood. If you find you are struggling with communication, try them for yourself and see if anything changes. Some things to try. Notice your habits. These play a big part in how we communicate. So reflect on how we are communicating, and particularly the difficulties that arise. Do you focus on what others do wrong? I do. I don't mean to, but I do, you know, and it's very easy to deflect and blame someone else for a mistake that could have just as easily been caused by you. So change can only come when we identify what we ourselves contribute. So that's something to keep in mind. Use meditation. Now this might not be for everybody, but it does help a lot. By meditating on unsolved difficulties, and it doesn't mean sit cross-legged on the floor and, you know, hum to yourself. You just think about things, take time out and sit in a quiet area where you can really focus on that and see if that's what's making you upset and work it out. By meditating on unsolved difficulties or arguments, it taps into your self-awareness. We can use them to reflect on the elements of what we experience, including the feeling, what happened, and how our body responds to the feelings. So it kind of takes you to a new level with your own experiences and feelings if you take time to really meditate on it. Identify what is really important in what you are saying. Simply and clearly, what is important and why. If you do this, others are likely to understand and sympathize with what you're trying to say. Connect with others, or connect with the other person. Empathy is the real key to communication and mindfulness and can help us to listen more fully to what others are saying. By using your imagination, try to connect with them and sense what is important to them, even if it's not what they are trying to say. Or what they are saying, not what they're trying to say. Express kindness. No, be truthful. Be truthful. Avoiding telling the truth can add up over time and get in the way of straightforward connection. Try to avoid exaggeration, flattery, or wriggling out of an awkward conversation by being untruthful. It will catch up to you in the end. Be honest, even if it's not always the kind rude. Sometimes it's the better rude. Express kindness, though. And that doesn't mean being dishonest. It just means make a point to express gratitude and appreciation of others, and look for appropriate or opportunities to exchange or encourage those feelings to them. You know, let them know they're doing a good job, even if it's only every once in a while. Positive reinforcement is always the best way to get somebody to feel better about themselves. Find the right time. There is a balance to skillful communication, which requires finding the right time to speak the truth, though difficult, over being kind to avoid hurt feelings. So that kind of ties in with the other two things. Steer clear of gossip. This is really hard to do because you can't avoid it. It's everywhere. Everyone does it, but you can do your best to stay out of it. So avoid the inevitable conversations in workplaces or social situations that include criticizing of other individuals in a non-productive way. Who hasn't had that, right? Reduce input. With the change in technology, we spend a great amount of time on social media. We need our mental space as well as our physical space, so allow a period of silence, especially if you're going on vacation. You know, I went out to Big Boy a couple weeks ago, and a family sat next to me in the booth, and it was probably a mother, father, and their 10-year-old son, and the entire time they sat there, all three of them were on their phone. The only time they spoke was to order their food, and it's very easy to get tied into that technology and forget about what's going on around you. So if you're feeling the work of stress and you want that, you know, turn off your phone when you come home at night and put it aside and spend time with the people in your life and enjoy that so you don't get stressed out. And we all do it. And enjoy language. Now, love your language. Participate in the various aspects of it. Read books and poetry and speak properly. Don't speak in text talk. Especially when you're like writing a letter, you would never write PPL for people in a handwritten letter. So don't do it in your emails or your texts either. Make a point to love the language you speak and learn more about it, because people who are good communicators, the best communicators, understand that words are precious and have meanings and many meanings and connotations. So you want to keep that in mind. All right. Give me a second. All right. So this brings us to my final topic in the presentation, which is the traits and the skills in which to work, or which make you work more effective as a communicator. There are 3 main steps to being effective in the workplace. Identifying your priorities is the first one. And this is one of the most crucial steps in becoming fully effective in to know your purpose at work. If you don't know what your job is there to achieve, how can you set appropriate priorities? Setting priorities will keep you from being burdened by too much work at once and not being able to tell which is important and which is not. Performing a job analysis could help you uncover your most important objectives so that you can prioritize tasks effectively. Adopt a good attitude. People with a good attitude take the initiative whenever they can. They help willingly pick up slack and make sure work is done to the highest standards. No such thing as good enough. A good attitude at work will help you earn respect and show that you can take responsibility for yourself. This is an admirable trait that is hard to find, but demonstrating ethical decision-making and integrity could help open many doors for you in the future. Building essential skills. Now this is the last skill, but it actually breaks down into 3 parts itself. You most likely have a lot of competing demands for your time. Key areas to become more effective at work are time management, stress management, communication, which we've already covered, and taking action on career development. So I guess there's actually 4, but we're only covering 3. Time management, which is the most crucial out of this group, is what you do to become more effective at work and learn how to manage your time properly. Without this skill, every day will feel like a frantic race, with all aspects of your job competing for your attention. Setting up an activity log to monitor how much time is spent on each task could help you to focus more on the tasks which have the most value. Try creating a to-do list or an action program so that you do not forget the vital tasks or commitments in your daily schedule. Use your time to your advantage by scheduling your highest value work for the times of day that you feel most energetic. Many will do this first thing in the morning and then have several smaller and less important tasks scheduled throughout the day. This way, you're sure to accomplish your main large task, but if you don't get around to the smaller tasks, you don't feel like you spent your day doing nothing and add more stress to your life. Once you've completed a job analysis, you should have a clear sense of what the role is all about and what you can use, or you can use the information to set short and long-term goals. This will act as a roadmap to achievement, and staying organized will also help you to work effectively and productively. As I said, we already talked about communication, so we're going to move right on to stress. We all experience pressure on a daily basis, but when it exceeds your ability to cope with it effectively, your productivity goes down and your mood suffers. In turn, you lose your ability to make rational decisions, and excessive stress can cause health problems, both short and long. I'm pretty sure that my stepmother gave herself cancer from stress, and that's just a theory of mine, but she was fine for years and then got really stressed and then suddenly she got cancer and got unstressed and her cancer went away. So I do believe that you can do that to yourself. You can cause yourself a lot of health problems doing that. I'm no doctor though, so don't take my word for it. But as much as we would like to avoid stress-related situations completely, it is inevitable that we will experience it at some point. So learning to manage stress is the key factor. Things you can do to manage stress more easily include getting a good night's rest every night, not just once a week. Every night, if possible, try and get the full amount of sleep because it will leave you feeling more refreshed and much better about yourself. Leave your work at home. Again, with the whole turning the cell phone off. When you leave work, if you have your work phone, just leave it in the car, or turn it off at night. And don't bring it home with you. I know you have a lot to do, but try to set, specific times. And if you work from home, it's just as hard because you have to really manage your schedule. So just try your best that when you're at home or during your home hours that you relax and turn everything business related off so that you can de-stress and unwind like we all need to. If you're having problems identifying what your stressors are, you could keep a stress diary for a week or 2. This will help to identify the events that cause you stress and understand the degree to which you experience it. When you're feeling calm, you can then analyze these triggers and come up with effective strategies for managing them. The last one we're going to cover is the career development. no matter what career you choose, it's important that you keep learning and developing your skills. Try creating a personal SWOT analysis, which that's one of those things you got to work up. It's like your strengths, your weaknesses, things like that. It's a business term, but it's a little thing that you can do that just it's an analysis of what your skills are, what you need to work on, the opportunities that you have to come, and the threats. I think that's what they are. Stress, weakness, or no, not stress. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's what SWOT stands for. So they're very good on helping you identify your areas that you need to work on and what you're excelling in. Try creating one of those, and remember that your soft skills are also an area of focus as well. So you can look at your SWOT analysis, but then keep in mind that your leadership skills, your problem-solving techniques, your emotional intelligence skills, and creative thinking are things that you can work at too. Anything that you can do to enhance these skills will make you a more valuable team player. Take into consideration any skills that you may be lacking that could be holding you back from advancement or skills that you or promotion within the company to make an effort to learn them. Stay relevant with developments within your industry. This will help you as you climb the ranks so that you ensure that you are always able to do the best job that you can. I hope that my presentation was helpful. I hope that you understand more about how to work effectively with each other and at the workplace and make yourself a more desirable team member. So thank you again for coming. It's much easier when you can read it off the